Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. If you've got a passion for all things car cleaning and detailing, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I share that passion as well. It's an addiction. In today's video, we are featuring the relatively new Rupez Uno one-step polish and sealant product, which you can think of as an all-in-one abrasive for polishing and protecting your car at the same time. Let's get stuck in. So the first thing we need to cover in this video, guys, is what is an all-in-one. You hear all these acronyms, AIO, all-in-one. What's the difference with an AOI polish and a normal polish? And a wax? What are all these different terms? Well, it's pretty simple. There's three things to understand with all of this kind of buffing on cars. You have pure abrasives like this DA Coarse product from Rupez. And really what a pure abrasive means is after you've buffed on it on the car, typically with a machine polisher, and you wipe off the abrasive slurry, you degrease the panel to remove some of the polishing oils and carriers in this formulation, you have what's called a bare prepped panel. So there's nothing left on the panel, and what you see is what you get. So a pure abrasive is a pure paint correction tool. The advantages of pure paint correction tools is that your results are permanent, so after you've used them, what you see is what you get. And you can have different ranges of them, from heavy abrasives through to mid-range, through to lighter finishing polishes, like you have with the DA Coarse, the DA Fine, and the Uno Pure, the finishing polish, in the DA kits. And we did a video featuring them that I'll link up here. So they're a pure abrasive. Now, before I get to this product, on the other end of the scale, you could have like a liquid protection product, like a sealant and wax, that you spread on your car, it cures, and you buff off. And that leaves material on the car that makes the car glossy and sits between the clear coat and the environment. Might repel water, might be harder for contamination to stick to the car if you've got like a layer of wax or sealant there. So it's a pure protection product. So the AOI, all-in-one, sits right in between products which add protection only and products which are pure abrasives and correct paint, and it attempts to do a little bit of both. And it contains a little bit of both of those products. So it contains the abrasive technology to actually remove clear coat and polish, bring up the gloss of clear coat, but it also contains some of those protection products. And the Rupez Uno uses a blend of carnauba wax, which we know is something that's still popular to this day because it puts a nice shine on the car, but importantly synthetic polymers which cure, harden and add to the durability, so that you'll have an all-in-one product that you can actually remove moderate defects in, so it's ideal for wash related swirls, and give yourself up to 90 days of protection. So that's one of the important things, and I hope that explains what the AOI is to anyone that's new to detailing. So now we understand where this product sits in between the full pure abrasives and protection only products as something that does both of those. The next thing we need to talk about is how you go about using this and what other equipment you're going to need, and some other product information like how much it costs and where you can get it from. So let's start with that. This product is available in 250ml, which costs between £10 and £11, which is a pretty solid price. And you can also buy a 1 litre offering, which is going to cost you around £30, which is a fantastic price. If you follow the channel, you've heard me complain a few times that some of the abrasive prices are pushing north of 40, getting closer to £50 per litre, which is expensive. So I like them closer to £30. And for a premium brand, I think that price is really, really good. How many cars are you going to be able to do with this 250ml bottle? I would guess somewhere between 3 to 5 cars, depending on how much product you use and how big the cars are and how much polishing you've got to do. I think you'd get at least 4, maybe 5, something like that. Give you a rough idea. So what else, guys? The protection element in this, one really important thing is Rupes advise that it will last up to 90 days, which is roughly 3 months. So that's quite good when you consider that you apply it at the same time as polishing. If you want longer durability products, then yes, one of the benefits of using the pure abrasives like the DA Fine range and degreasing is you could pick a longer lasting sealant which Rupes will sell you, or even ceramic coatings and things like that, which can give you durability up to and beyond a year. But if you follow the channel as well, I tend to use AOI products to look after my car for the simple fact that I feel buffing on them brings up the gloss. Now, this moves me on to something that's very important about this product, and you need to understand. The amount of cut that this product can yield is controllable via your choice of products that go with it and some other things, and that's really important. So here on the hood of my beautiful new M4 CS that we're going to be polishing is 3 Rupes pads, which are going to be the most common pad choices if you're going to use the Rupes Uno Protect. Now here we have the Rupes DA medium wool polishing pad. Now for me, this would be the choice of pad where you're looking to maximise the amount of cut and defect removal while still being able to deliver a final finish. And that will be the Rupes yellow wool pad. So on harder paints where you might have slightly deeper defects, if you need to go beyond that, you're going to be looking at the coarse option in the Rupes range. But these products, or these coarse pads, are less able to deliver you a final finish and will typically be used on 2-stage polishing, a cut and finish. So I would start with the yellow wool if you're looking to maximise cut. If you're looking to deliver a decent amount of cut but slightly more gloss, then foam pads typically give you a slight edge over the wool pads, and I recorded that very closely with the gonio photometer in the last video that I did on the DA lines. The difference in gloss readings doing set for set, pound to pound with the same product was 2 units, and that's not much. Your eye's not going to be able to see that. But typically if you have less defects like I've got here, and I'll overlay the picture, then the yellow medium pad from Rupes is a really good all-round pad. Now finally, the lightest cut pad, the softest pad, the finest pad in their range is the DA Ultra Fine, the white pad. Why would you want to use that, John? Because you're going to have less cut. Well, after I've polished my paint and removed all the defects, in 3 months' time when I'm looking to repolish, I don't want to be removing clear coat because I will have washed this carefully. So I'm looking for a pad that's going to not work the cut, and it's just going to spread the product, even at a lower speed on the machine polisher with less pressure, less passes, very rapidly to literally apply the product and not remove clear coat. Very important, because you only have about 50 microns of clear coat, and you don't want to be removing, you want to be minimising the amount you're removing basically. So in future I'll be using the white pad just to apply the product, let it cure and buff it. And talking about curing, that moves us on to the next important point. After you've worked this product, and we'll demo how you can work it on the machine, you should leave it on the panel for at least 15 minutes to cure and cross-link before you buff it off the panel. If you buff it immediately, you're not going to maximise the durability of the product. So 15 minutes. I believe in fact what Rupes advise to make your life easier is you polish the car, a section, and you leave the product there. You move on to the next section, polish that, leave the product there, work your way around to the car, and then you can buff off once you've done the entire car. Okay, so that will save you time as well. Alternatively, you could leave a section for 15 minutes and come back and buff it if you want to get it off and have a look at it and see your results. And your first set where you're inspecting your results to see if you're getting anything, you might want to leave it 15 minutes buff and make sure you're happy with the results first. So apply common sense there. One other important thing, once you've applied the product and buffed it all off, avoid washing the car or putting it outside in the soaking rain for about 4 hours for it to get a full cure. If you wash it before it's had a full cure, you're going to compromise durability. Now, John, can I use this product by hand? Can I use it on a rotary polisher? Can I use it on forced rotation? Yes, You can use this on any form of machine polisher. If you use it by hand, you're not going to be able to utilise the abrasives and correct. You're going to be more reliant on the protection materials to fill and gloss up the paint, and less reliant on the abrasives, which you can't work fast enough by hand to really cut it. So 99% of people watching this video are going to be using free spinning dual action polishers like this Rupez LHR 15 Mark III, which is their kind of flagship polisher in the Bigfoot range. If you're a rotary user or forced rotation user, you can also use those, as I've said. So that covers cost, durability, how you can maximise cut, minimise cut, the machines you can use it on. What we've got left to do now is I'll overlay you the state of this paintwork in dark light so you can see it. And I'm going to do a polishing set on it, let that polishing set cure off for 15 minutes, buff it off, show you the results, and then I think we've covered all the bases on this product. Okay, we're ready to start, guys. Just a couple of other really useful things. You're going to need a really good light source to inspect your work afterwards, and you would want a brush to be able to clean down your pads at the end of each set and remove any debris and spent kind of product from the pad. So the Rupez claw tool is ideal for that. Some other important things: you need to shake this with most abrasives quite vigorously the first time, especially at the start of the day on that first set, just to mix all of the product up properly. And you want to avoid leaving this in the garage in the winter months where it can freeze. So put it somewhere where it's not going to go below 0 degrees. You can also use this product on clear coated cars, which is 99% of modern vehicles, but also single stage gloss paints with the older cars, or some vans which still use that format of paint. So it's compatible with all paint types. I'm going to demo here. This is not a particularly big area, but the pad is bone dry. So what we can do is we can just put a bit of product on here, and we can just get the pad covered in product. That first set, the pad is always a little bit dry. So I'm just going to run the machine down to sort of somewhere between 1 and 2, pop it down there and just spin it up and get that liquid all over the pad. Okay, we'll put a little bit more product in now. These are open cell pads, so they absorb the polish into them, but that also means it flushes out quite nicely as well. So 4 pea-sized drops would be plenty for this size. In fact, it might even be a little bit too much, but a good 2x2 set, typically 4 pea-sized dots on your pad, is going to be ideal. And just like any other product, guys, you can do this basic technique where you just dab out your polish, so you've got fresh polish over every part of the panel you're about to hit. And then you can form that polish into a film by putting the speed on speed 1, running over it. Now I've got film of polish there, I can just work it. Now, if I want to utilise cut, I can crank the machine right up to speed 6. That's a bad idea because this is quite a powerful, aggressive machine. You typically only do that when you're looking to maximise cut and really, really go full tilt. Most of the time, if you're down at speed 4, that's going to be ideal for just the type of polishing that we're doing here. The main thing to do is you want to keep, the machine works best when it's kind of flat to the panel. Don't panic if you see the machine stall. It's going to stall at certain points when you go over sort of raised edges or you go into valleys. That's normal. What you don't want is it stalling all the time. So if you see it stalling too much, you just bring your speed up to the point where 99% of the time the machine is whizzing away and not stalling. If you're worried about stalling, you can put a little marker pen line on the pad so it's easier to detect. Note the Rupez backing plates are greased. They're supposed to interface and mate up to the shroud so it supports the plate and reduces wear on the bearings. So you want it to actually rub a little bit. But note you can also add a little bit more grease if you're getting a little bit too much stall. So away we go. Let's get this polishing set done. And I'm looking to just do 2 passes pretty rapidly because I think that's going to give us the correction that I need. Let's get started. Now we're going to change direction and go up and down. Okay, so that's 2 passes, one horizontal pass, one vertical pass, and we're trying to overlap the pad with each line by about sort of 40–50%, because these pads tend to lift a little bit around the edges. So you don't look at the pad, look at the footprint on the abrasive. So the next thing we now need to do, guys, is allow this polish residue to dry for 15 minutes before we buff. So I'll turn the camera on and we will come back. Let's just have a quick look at how the polish is. So it's still working, so I'm expecting this to kind of dry off and cure and then give me a nice light buff. So I could have carried on working the product if I had wanted to, so that's great. Okay guys, welcome back. Now this is going to be a cinematic challenge for me, but I really want to show you the buff. So I'm holding the camera with the light here so we can see how easily this buffs for the first time after 15 minutes. And we can see what the results are underneath. So let's get buffing. So that's nice and light. Just using a clean microfiber cloth here and just gently buffing in circles. You can see that's where I was testing to see if it dried earlier on. So let's catch this up. Buff up to the tape, and we've got to just buff the top here as well. So I'm just going to go along here and get that top piece. Okay guys, so I just want to show you the corrected paint. So like, I'm more than happy with this. If I can't see any swirls, that's the benchmark that I'm happy. And I'm trying to look in real life and look through the viewfinder of the camera as well. But that paint's looking great, as opposed to the paint. You know, the paint on this side where we haven't polished, it's not bad, but it's just got these fine wash-related swirl marks. You can see the haze. So we've improved it, and that's what I want. And I know now that I only have to do 2 quick passes over the car, and then I have paintwork which is going to be at a level that I'm happy with. How long is it going to take me to go along? Forgive the focus. Let me just get sharp focus, there we go. And do the rest of this car. I think it's going to take me about 3 or 4 hours. I'll cover slightly bigger areas, like I'll probably do that whole wing section there in 1 pass, the bonnet in 9 sections, the door in 4 sections, the rear quarter in 3 or 4 sections, the roof in probably 6 sections, and my car will be looking absolutely great, and it's not going to be difficult. Let's put this camera back on the tripod and go to the final conclusions. There's a couple of little bits of information that I need to go through as well. Okay guys, we're coming towards the end of this video. I've been doing a few more sets with the product and I'm smiling because I know going ahead and correcting the paintwork on this car is going to be very, very easy and very, very rapid. And 99% of details should be like that. They shouldn't always take days and days and days. Sometimes, unfortunately, they do when you've got years worth of kind of neglect, or you're taking out sandy marks all over the car and stuff like that. But a 3-year-old car like this shouldn't be all blood, sweat and tears. It should be smooth sailing, and it is going to be smooth sailing. I want to recap some of the tips, guys. Make sure you shake it well, don't let it freeze, and you can use this on old-fashioned single stage paintwork if you ever encounter that. In fact, the waxes in it will be good for sort of soaking into that paintwork and keeping the gloss a little bit longer. So they're ideal AOIs for single stage. Can I use this product as preparation for a ceramic coating? Well, in my opinion, probably not, because it contains waxes and polymers that are going to be on the surface, and they may interfere with the coating bonding. But there's so many different types of coatings and formats, it's hard to say. But typically, if you're using a ceramic coating, you're going to use the Rupez pure abrasive lines and degrease afterwards as ideal prep for a ceramic coating. Don't forget the Rupez claw tool, if I haven't mentioned that, because that's really handy for removing the pads and brushing them out. Another thing with this product, guys, is there is a very good instructional video done by Rupez and Jason Rose, which I used as research, and it answered all the questions I had to do a video to answer the questions you might also have. So it's got loads of answers to common questions. And one thing that's really important that I had in my head, and I thought I was going to have to ask Rupez, but that video answered it. The product cures, okay, in 15 minutes on the panel, so it dries off and then you can buff it. If you're leaving it on the pad, it's going to cure into the pad. So after each set, brush out the vast majority of that product and you'll get less debris curing in the pad. If you want to change out your pads like a few times through the detail, because you do get more and more of the polished slurry and stuff building up in your pads, you can strip off that pad and put it to one side and put a fresh one on. But Rupez give really good advice. Put that pad with the spent polish in a bucket of clean water, because it will stop the product drying into the pads. And when they dry into the pads, it's so much harder to flush it all out at the end with certain products, like, you know, especially if there's wax in it and stuff like that. So that will make it easier to maintain the pad. And it will also mean the next time you go to use the pad, you won't get the cloud of kind of dry product that you can sometimes get. That was a mistake I used to make very early on, when I'd leave pads that I've been polishing overnight full of abrasives and get a dust cloud the next day. So that's a really good tip. I may not have mentioned that whenever you're polishing a car, make sure you wash it properly and decontaminate it with clay bar. Go and watch the Rupez video as well. And with all of these videos I do on their products, they give very good product information because they know the products well. So it'd be worth subscribing to their channel on YouTube, and I'll link that in there. A huge thank you to them for partnering with me on this video. It gets me a chance to try out the product and work with one of the kind of biggest brands in the detailing arena that are a specialist in polishing cars. And there's very few companies that you can say are specialists in polishing cars and produce, you know, the tooling down to the abrasives and the pads and all that. So it's fantastic for the channel as well. So a huge thank you to them. Hope you enjoy the video. Any questions you have on this product, put it in the description, because my aim with doing this as well is to make sure I answer all of the common questions, so you know what you're getting when you go and buy this. You know how to use it, and hopefully you know what you're going to get in terms of results and durability and all that sort of stuff. So thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel. Singing and detailing rocks. Not with a voice like that, John.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when you